So of the 9 gates in that city, 7 were on the surface and 2 were subterranean. A total of 9 doors were constructed, and these led to different places. All the gates were used by the city's governor and purport. The 7 gates of the body that are situated upward are the 2 eyes. 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, and 1 mouth. The 2 subterranean gates are the rectum and the genitals. The king or the ruler of the body, who is the living entity, uses all these doors to enjoy different types of material pleasures. The system of opening different gates to different places is still evident in old Indian cities. Formerly, a capital was surrounded by walls, and one passed through various gates to go to various cities or toward specific directions. In old Delhi, there are still remnants of surrounding walls and various gates known as the Kashmiri Gate, the Lahori Gate, etc. Similarly, in Ahmedabad, there is a Delhi Gate. The point of this smile is that the living entity wants to enjoy different types of material opulences. And to this end, nature has given him various holes in his body that he can utilize for sense enjoyment. So I'll just go ahead and read just the text and purport for the next verse. My dear king, of the 9 doors, 5 led toward the eastern side, 1 led toward the northern side, 1 led toward the southern side, and 2 led toward the western side. I shall try to give the names of these different doors. Purport. Of the 7 doors on the surface, namely the 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, and 1 mouth, 5 look forward, and these are described as the doors facing the eastern side. Since looking forward means seeing the sun, these are described as the eastern gates, for the sun rises in the east. The gate on the northern side and the gate on the southern side represent the 2 ears, and the 2 gates facing the western side represent the rectum and the genitals. All the doors and gates are described below. So there's furthermore, as the verses go in this chapter, there's more description about these gates, what they mean, what they represent. So we will discuss with Srila Prabhupada's and Gurudev's mercy on these 2 that was given to me today. So I'll go ahead and share the PowerPoint one more time. We're back on this. So this is like every verse in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is no doubt very special. And we are on one of those special verses today too. Sometimes we get very bewildered when such descriptions are given where we feel like, is there a need for it? And then we have to understand that there was this Parikshit Maharaj who just had his 7 days and who intensely wanted to get to hear only the most specific ones that he had to hear. So we can see if these verses are being described by Shukadeva Goswami, that means that is something really, really important for us to also hear with that same attentiveness and giving that same importance to every verse of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So giving us, when we get such doubts, if we check back on our, what is the mood in which this whole Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam was spoken and the intensity with which it was spoken, then every verse will become our, with that intensity, we will also give our oral reception to that verse and try to understand in following in the footsteps of our acharyas as they have spoken. So as I was reflecting on this verse, thank you for giving these verses to me for my own purification. So whatever I'm speaking today is for my own self louder to hear back, and also for my own self, my own purification, that I also want to progress in my spiritual life as I'm struggling myself. So I have no qualification to give any class to you all. I see this as an opportunity for my own speaking, hearing, and growth. And you all are helping me in that process. So I am eternally very grateful to each one of you. So in that mood, please, if my English is not that great either, so if I use any kind of examples, please don't feel that I'm pointing to the audience. It's perfectly towards me. It's just directed towards myself inward. So because I'm the struggling sadhaka here amongst you all, and I need this the most. So keeping that in mind, as I was hearing to all the great devotees giving class in these series of classes, the highlight of the point is sometimes when we give the message directly, we just don't understand. some, like how for a kid we have to say things in the form of a story, then things are made more easier for application, for understanding. Like this allegorical story that Narad Muni is actually trying to teach to Prachini Barishad, the king. So he's trying to bring in the point of this whole holes and gates and everything is about the body of this Puranjana story is for him to relate to and how he can apply it for ultimate self-realization. So keeping that in mind, that how Narad Muni is so compassionate. Why is he so compassionate? Because he is the expansion of our Guru Parampara. He comes in the line of the spiritual masters who are very compassionate. And for us, tomorrow is Balram Jayanti, and I hope that's the same for you all in India too. And what a special opportunity that we can relish on the Guru Tattva, or our Adi Guru Balramji, who has made this possible for us to get into the spiritual journey. So we can glorify him, take his shelter, and understand his tattva a little bit. Tomorrow, I guess you will have more speakers speaking about the glorious Balramji, whose qualities are unlimited. So today I will, with your blessings, I'll try to reflect on whatever I have heard. So hearing from Narad Muni, I was also reflecting on, it's always nice to say stories, right? So we can relate to. So there is one very nice story also of another king who had a guru in his kingdom, who would come every day and give spiritual discourses. So much so that the king was like, "Oh, again, like he's come again." He got so fed up with him. So like how you're tolerating me sitting here saying the stories. So the king was also like kind of very frustrated. Like he has come again. Every day he comes to share something or give an advice or share a spiritual message. So the speaker actually can get to know what the how the hearers are feeling, like when you are in a live session when we could see each other face to face. So whoever is on the Vyasasana can actually, they can speak as much as how the response is from the audience, they say. With the eagerness of the audience, the speaker is actually empowered to speak more. So the speaker, this sadhu, he was actually feeling that this king is not actually interested in my message. He got that right away. He was able to understand that. So after some time, the sadhu said to the king, "I see that it's so getting so hard for you to sit and hear my message on a daily basis. So I have an option for you." And the king was like, "Okay, what is that option?" So this sadhu said, "If you can find a big fool, like a big murka in your kingdom and make him your minister in your sabha, and give him this danda, like a stick of, they call that, like that actually represent that he's a big fool, but he wouldn't know that when he carries it, like give him that and give him a post, then I will not come here anymore." And this king thought, "I know, to make a fool as a minister, it's going to cost me a lot." But he said, "But I'm just fried out with this sadhu so much that I'm willing to do anything, that if he stops coming, I'm fine with that. I can deal with the fool. That's okay. I just have to ignore him, or I know how to deal with a fool." He thought that internally. And he said, "Yeah, I can do that. That's not a big deal for me." And he sent the message to the other ministers that go and find the greatest fool in our kingdom. And these ministers were like, "Okay, yes, king, as you say, we will do it." So the sadhu left and the ministers left to find this great fool in the kingdom. So when they walked out, they actually saw that there was a man who was sitting on the tree, and he was sitting on one of the branches, and he was cutting the branch on which he was sitting. So you can visualize that, like he's sitting on the branch and he's actually cutting that branch off that tree, and he's like giving with all his force. And these people, the ministers and the soldiers, are like, "Oh, what are you doing there? Like you will fall down and you will get injured. You're cutting the same branch that you're sitting on." And that man was like, "I know you people have come to distract me. I know exactly what I'm doing. Stop interfering in my work." So these people were fully convinced that yes, he's surely number one fool. And he really cut, he actually even fell down. And when he fell down, these ministers and the soldiers, they went and gave him that the stick of honor. And they said, we are very pleased to meet you, and we would like to have you in our kingdom, and king wants to reward you. And this person was like, huh, see, now you know how intelligent I am, and you people were stopping me from doing what I was doing. Now you have finally understood that I have a mission in life, and I know things as good as what it needs to be. And they were just internally laughing, the soldiers, and they just took this fool to the courtyard. And very softly they whispered in the king's ears what actually happened and how he is being chosen as the big fool. And the king very externally welcomed him, and he when he saw that danda in him, he said, here is your post as my minister in my sabha. You can be seated here. And king was internally laughing. Okay, this is much easier to deal. I am so happy that it was so quick that we found this big fool in our kingdom, and now I can get rid of this sadhu on a daily basis who comes and tortures me with his classes. So then the sadhu instantaneously left when he saw that the fool was found. And then the everyday routine was going on, everything was fine, and this fool was being a fool, giving all foolish advices. But the king just kept, he knew how to deal with fools. So he felt like he just has to ignore or just laugh at it or whatever and run with his business of ruling the kingdom. And he was internally happy. Thank you that I got get rid of that sadhu, that I don't have to hear him on a daily basis that he would come. And as the days went and progressed, the king was on his deathbed. So he was on his deathbed, and there were just few seconds for him to pass. And at that time, he just looked across. Everyone was there, but except that fool. So the king said, why is that minister missing? Bring him. I would also like to thank him before I leave this body. So they said, king, do you really want to bring him at your deathbed? He can be of big trouble to you. The king said, no, 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 he's fine. That's no problem. And they bring that fool there, and he says, oh, king, why are you lying down like this? Like, what has happened to you? Like, he was not sure, he was not aware that he's in his last breath. The king said, I am ready to leave my body. I'm in my last few moments of my life. And then the fool just stares back and he says, oh, so you will be taking this whole kingdom with you as you die? And this king was like, oh, what can I say? This fool, he doesn't stop himself even at this point. He said, oh no, don't you understand, oh minister? I cannot take any of this kingdom with me. I really just can't take. And then the fool says, oh, then you will take all your wives with you, all your co-wives. You have so many beautiful wives. Are they coming? And the king said, no, 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 nobody can come with me. They cannot come with me. And then the fool says again, so king, so you will take all the riches that you conquered by going into all different directions and doing all that raids and all that fight that you did? And the king's like, oh no, he's really getting on my nerves now. I cannot take anything. Do you understand? I cannot take anything. And now the blood pressure is increasing for that king actually in his last breath. And then the fool just takes the danda, the foolish danda that was his coronation, kind of the greatest fool, and he gives that to the king. He says, now this belongs to you. You are the biggest fool. And now king feels like, how come suddenly he's speaking very grave and very smart? And he says that, and then this fool actually takes off his mask, and he shows and he says that I am actually the disciple of the sadhu. And the sadhu instructed me to be with you, and he wanted to show you how you have wasted all your life not listening to any instructions, and now you're in the deathbed, and you, even after you know you have heard so many instructions on this matter, but you have not realized and lived a life of saintliness. So you, who can be the greatest fool other than you? So please have that danda for your own self as you leave this body. So that's how merciful guru is. Like, even when this king was totally not interested in hearing anything from him, he gave an escape to teach a lesson. So that's the mercy of the guru. So exactly, we can see how Narad Muni, he's using this allegorical story. That's for you and me to relate to understand, to practice, and to help us come out of the cycle of birth and death, and to take shelter of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. So I hope you all enjoyed this story as much as I enjoyed narrating it to you all. But the whole point is Narad Muni's way of explaining like how each one knows what if we say the other person will understand, right? Like that is the most important point in the preaching. Like when we meet somebody, the most important is how we convey the message to them, that they will get attracted to the spiritual life. They will get attracted to the most attractive Lord Shri Krishna. So that keeping that in mind, we will move forward. So here comes the sweet, sweet, sweet Shri Balaramji, where Srila Prabhupada actually describes how he's non-different from Supreme Personality of Godhead. And there is only two difference, he says, which is very obvious. The first one is their appearance, who is fairer in complexion, and and Krishna is like the Sham cloud. He's and we could see that in these pictures itself, it speaks. And the other, if anybody knows who wants to interact, I know you all know so much more than me. So please feel free, like an interaction, that you are most welcome to speak. Anybody wants to say anything? What would be the other difference between Balaram and Krishna? There's no right and wrong answers much because, yeah, yes, Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Prabhupada said there is no difference, only the color in one of his lectures.
Yes, that's only the color, he said. And the other difference is Krishna is the person who receives, like kind of accepts our service. And Balaram is the one who performs or engages us in the service. So they both have 64 qualities. They're literally non-different from each other. So one has come to accept the service, another one has come to engage us and show us how to serve the Supreme Lord. Only the Lord can show us actually how to serve. So he himself expands into Balaramji. So Janmashtami is coming. If we understand the Baladev Tattva today and take shelter of Balaramji, we will be in a better mood to actually welcome Supreme Personality of Godhead and engage in his service as Janmashtami approaches. So we will see further how wonderful Lord Balram is. So they say that the fundamental principle that is required for Bhakti Lata Beach to grow is Asat Sanga Tyagat, like to give away the not unwanted association, the Asat Sangha, that we have to give up. And the biggest challenge that we people in general we face is not like lack of information. There is tons of information everywhere. You just Google up, and now that you have all these chat GPT and whatnot, you put it, it just pops up. So much information is there in the world. But it is the challenge of application, right? How do we apply for us? And to even apply that knowledge, right, we need that strength. So who gives that strength? It is our Balaram. In his name itself, Srila Prabhupada says how Bala is the spiritual strength, which we can apply the knowledge that he gives. Again, the knowledge is given himself. Like how we said, Om Ajnanatimirandasya, he opens my darkened eyes with the torch of knowledge. Who is that? That's the spiritual master. He opens our darkened eyes and he gives that knowledge and also the strength with which we can apply what we learned from him. So that's how his beautiful name is Balaram. And actually, he also, Srila Prabhupada, in one of the lectures, he said when he was installing Krishna Balaram in Vrindavan Mandir, Prabhupada said that why are we installing Krishna Balaram in Vrindavan? Krishna gives the sword of knowledge. He has spoken Bhagavad Gita and all the knowledge is given. But if one is weak, that he cannot even lift the sword, then he needs the blessings of Balramji to lift the sword so we can cut our avidya, our ignorance in this material world and our attachments that we have. The attachments are so strong. Like I know each one of us have enough self-realization, especially we as parents. We have a lot more realizations how attached we are to our family, to our house and whatnot, to our surroundings, to this body. And it really takes an immense effort. And that effort is possible only with the blessings of Balaram, who gives us the strength to use this sword to cut down our deeply attachments that we have in this material world. So Prabhupada was very, very happy when they were installing Krishna Balaram in the center and in the temple. So moving further, there are so many glories of Balaram that we can discuss. but I was trying to see that first understanding his position. Like this is a beautiful pictorial diagram of what's that position of Balramji. So Krishna, who is Swayam Rupa Bhagavan, his original form as a covered boy in Vrindavan, he expands himself into Swayam Prakash and Vaibhava Prakash. Swayam Prakash means by his own manifestation. Like example is given of the Prabhava Prakash of expansions in Ras Leela, how his own forms he manifested into. And the next one, the Vaibhava Prakash, it said that expansions with different moods and bodily features, such as his brother Balaram. So from the right side of the Supreme Lord expands Sri Balaramji. And from Balaramji, Tad Ekatma Rupa, expansions with different moods and bodily features. So anything and everything else that comes or that we even know of, any other things like expansions of Vilasa, the four-armed Vishnu forms, all the Pradyumna, Niruddha, the Chaturvyuha, Vasudeva, Shankarshana, Pradyumna, Niruddha, then all the Leela avatars, Purusha avatars, Guna avatars, Shakti Avesh avatars, Manvanta avatars, Yuga avatars, and anything that you know of, everybody has emanated from Balaramji. So that is the power of Balaramji, that he is doing. Why is he doing all these things? To serve Krishna. That's all his purposes. In all these forms, he is trying to serve the instructions and the mood and the pastimes to facilitate the pastimes of his master, Shri Krishna. So this is the power, the powerful personality Balaram that we are discussing. So this picture always gives me goosebumps, or it makes me feel like wow when I see this. And also like the chandelier that's there on the TOVP, right? Like there is that video which explains about how this whole Bhumandala is on the top of the hoods of Adi Anantashesh. And Anantashesh is one of the expansions of Balramji. So he's holding the whole planetary systems up and down and whatnot. all that is being manifested by Balaramji for the pleasure of the Lord and his pastimes. So that is the magnanimity. Like when we understand the vastness of this personality whom we are discussing, then our heart becomes soft and we bow down with awe and reverence, and we are able to appreciate his presence in our lives. So the more we know about this personality called Shri Balaramji. Yeah. So this great personality who came right from the right side of Krishna, Swayam Krishna Bhagavan, is his appearance coming tomorrow. So Lord Balaram serves in all the rasas, right? What to say? There's nothing that is left. he loves to serve the Lord in all the rasas. And we have heard so much about his pastimes of how in the Shanta rasa, like when Shanta means he is very neutral, he becomes the whole dham on which all the pastimes of the Lord happens. So it is also said that there are 10 ways of Shantarasa, how the Lord Balaram serves as his bed, as his cushion, as his asana, as his chamara, as his umbrella, as his shoes, as fans, as garments, and even his ornaments. So, and even his Krishna's sacred thread. Can you believe? Even Krishna's sacred thread is none other than Sri Balaramji. So that is the neutral Shantarasa that Balaramji. Like now when you have darshan of Krishna, you can actually see all that ornaments that is on his beautiful body, and even that Brahman thread that he has, his shoes, his peacock feather, all the arti paraphernalia that we are using is none other than Balaramji. Then how reverential we will be, right? When we are using, they're not just non-moving objects, but they're all with full chitta, with the consciousness that is Balaram's consciousness of being used in the service of the Lord in the Shantaras. So that is the first rasa. And then coming to the next of his dasya. So after this is such a sweet picture. This past him actually Balaram comes as the older brother, the elder brother, right? But you can see that how Krishna is so relaxingly lying down, and we can see how Balaram is beautifully massaging Krishna's lotus feet. They say that after Krishna steals butter, he's really tired after all that pastime, and he just wants to, after eating all that butter, he's so tired, and he's taking a nap. And Balaram so sweetly massages his feet in the mood of Dasya, in his eternal form as his servant. And next is Sakya. As a friend, he plays all the pastimes with the Lord, and he jokes with the Lord, and he actually friend has all that loving relationship of a friendship, right? Like you get to tease the Lord. So there is this nice sweet story that the devotees share, where Balramji says that, Krishna, have you ever looked into the mirror? You know, Nanda Maharaj is very fair, and Yashoda Maya is for sure very fair, but not you. So maybe you're not their son. They just took you out, picked you up from somewhere in the market. And in front of everyone, he teases Krishna like that. So that friendship. Then Krishna starts to cry and he runs to Mother Yashoda and he's like, Maya, Maya, Daoji said like this, and he made fun of me in front of all the boys. I can't take it. And he actually cries and melts down in the hands of Yashoda Maya. Please tell me for sure, am I your son or not? So Yashoda Maya has to say that, oh, you became dark. You know why? I drank the milk from that black Kalia cow. That's how you became dark. And you were born in the dark night. That's how that darkness came on you. So she says all these things to pacify Krishna and lighten that situation. So this is all possible only in the friendship relationship, right? Just a second, sorry. So next we can see that, so first was Shanta, this is Dasya, Sakya, friendship, and then next we have as Vatsalya. And how nicely our Baldev is feeding Krishna. He takes care of him so much as Vatsalya, as the older brother. He's very protective about his brother. Even while grazing, it is said that Baldev will go ahead to make sure that the root is fine, it's clean, and Krishna will be having fun, and he will be just playing with all his caps and talking, chit-chatting with his gopas and playing on his flute and talking to the birds and taking his own sweet time as he walks. But Baldev will go ahead and he will clear the route, and he will actually use his plow to mark the direction, either to turn right or to left as moving forward. So he's very, very protective of Krishna. And then we also have us in the Madhurya Rasa, that where he is also expanding as Ananga Manjari, Shrimati Radharani's sister, and he also facilitates the conjugal loving pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So all the five rasas complete everywhere Baladev is there, his presence in serving the Lord. So we can take inspiration. Why is he's showing by his example, we say, right? Like we preach by our example. So we see our guru, the Adi Guru, who is eager, who is like, we would not do any service if we don't like it in the first place. Like nobody can force us to do any kind of service day in and day out, like day after day, they say it, right? Only when we like it, we love it, when we feel our frequency matches with it, we look forward for our services. So similarly, Baldev is so happy performing all these services. So that is from his heart, that is his nature of serving Krishna in all and any and all possible ways. So we pray to him on this special day that, oh Baldev, please engage us, empower us, and please always uh, clear all the doubts that we have in our heart and keep us progressing in the spiritual journey of always serving the Lord, as our soul's nature is being the servant of the Lord, to be in our constitutional position, which is the most difficult task, I guess, because most of the times we forget, at least I forget, that I'm supposed to be serving and not enjoying in the name of devotional service. So yeah, I really need the prayers of Balram all the time. So here is another beautiful picture of Krishna Balaram, where you could see that here there was an argument, like if both are same, then who is more powerful? When this question was asked to Srila Prabhupada, and he said that it's so evident, don't you see the name Balaram, who is supposed to be the full of strength, he is leaning on Krishna with his hand on there. So that says how Krishna is the most powerful out of the two. He is the Supreme Lord. Yeah, so Srila Prabhupada has his own ways of relating things, and it's very relatable. And every time now that you all are in Delhi, actually you people have more access to Vrindavan in the physical realm there. We only have to pray from here. So we take your blessings that we can also come to Vrindavan Dham when the Lord allows us, and the devotees give their blessings to come and take blessings of Krishna Balaram in Vrindavan temple there. So as you take darshan, you can always remember how Balaram is there, even though he's the elder brother, for the sake of that pastime, but he is the servitor, and the Supreme Lord Krishna is the one who receives the service as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here I also wanted to say some of the expansions of Baladev that we all can relate to is Lakshmanji, no doubt, right? This one always, like his name Lakshman itself stands for Lakshmano Lakshmi Sampannaha. That means one who is bestowed with the Lakshmi Sampannaha. He's filled with the blessings of Mother Lakshmi. And what is the blessings of Mother Lakshmi? This service. Mother Lakshmi is known for serving the Lord, always engaged in his Pada Sevanam. So Lakshman is filled with serving attitude always. And Ramayana is such a sweet pastime that anytime and every time we hear, our heart just melts and flows with each of those special personalities in Ramayana. In similar lines, it is said that how when Lord Ram was banished to forest, it's the wife's duty to follow the husband, and nowhere does the brother have to follow another brother, right? He can say, it was your whatever, deal with it, or I'll pray for you, please go finish and come back, and I'll be here to receive you when you come back. So, but Lakshman never said that. He took it on himself and he went, wherever you are, that's where I belong to. Nothing else is important in my life other than serving you, my Lord. Even though like he was the younger brother, we can see that pastime of how he never slept the whole 14 years of exile. He was always awake day night guarding, and he had the most difficult task of building that funeral pyre for Mother Sita when Lord Ram says to test her chastity after they find her and after finishing the war. What a tough task, right? And even he got chastised from Mother Sita that I told you to go and you're not going. Is it that you want to enjoy me? Like such harsh words. Like you're serving this side Lord Ram and this side Mother Sita, and both of them are chastising you. You'll be like, you both deal with yourself. Hare Krishna to you, both of you. Right? That would be easier done. But Lakshman's mood was like, I am your servant. I am here to serve and I'm here to accept the chastisements too. His focus was not on the chastisements. Like to the extent what Lakshman was chastised by Mother Sita, we cannot even imagine actually that somebody would tell us like whatever we all go through a little bit here and there, we just get flared up. Like at least I get really flared up here and there. So I seek blessings from Lakshmanji that please give me the tolerance that at all circumstances may I be reminded that my natural position or my eternal position is the servant. And servant means what? Like you just get left and right from the master. So you get corrections, you get whatnot, right? Like feedbacks and fixes and menial services. So I should be in the happy mood of accepting that from my masters as be it in the form of chastisement, or that is the last verse that Mahaprabhu gives us, Ashlishyava padaratam pinashtuma आदर्शनान् मर्महतां करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विदधातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव नापरः. Like however you want to deal with me, be it rough by kicking me away or with love you want to embrace me, you are my Lord, birth after birth. Mahaprabhu says in the last verse of Shikshashtakam. So that's embodied by Lakshmanji, right? We see that, and let us all take his blessings too, as Balram Jayanti is coming. And also, like I heard a nice pastime of Baldev. There's so many pastimes of Baldev in the Jagannath pastimes. And there was one pujari who was actually, this happened in Rajapur. He was in our Mayapur, Rajapur temple. He was painting Jagannath's deity. And there was, at the same time, there was a class that was going on by another sannyasi, a senior sannyasi was giving. So he was impelled to go to the class. So he left the painting halfway and he went to attend the class, which sometimes we also do. Sometimes in between the service, we feel like, okay, tomorrow I'll come back and complete it. And the night, Baldev came and gave left and right to the pujari and said, how dare you left my brother half painted? You see how horrible he looks. How did you get this audacity to just walk off like that, leaving my brother half painted? Come and finish it right now. So that's the mood of Baldev, like always wanting to serve. And this Pujari actually got up from the dream and he did not feel that as a dream at all. It was so real. And it was truly real that he rushed in the middle of the night to the temple to continue painting and completing the service because it was quite intense from Baldev. So even today, how he comes and his dealings are mainly to please his elder brother, Jagannath ji. So those nice pastimes were reminds us of how important our service is to the Supreme Lord always. And what to speak of our Nityanand Prabhu, the most merciful incarnation that we cannot even imagine to that extent of tolerance mainly. I love his tolerance, like how soothing and cooling his presence is, just as the picture itself speaks, that he was ready to go to Jagai and Madai, who were ready to harm him, to deliver them. So the same Baladev, that pastimes we know of, Romaharshana Sutta, right? That we have heard that when he did not respect Balaram, when he was giving class and he just had to pick a grass and just touch to his neck and his neck was off his body. So such powerful Baladev comes as Nityananda Prabhu, the most merciful incarnation, and he begs door to door and he says, please, please chant the holy names of Krishna, Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Dhana Pran. He goes on to beg each one of us to please take it up. So we are in the right time where the Lord has mercifully come. He's not come around with a weapon to us to kill all of us, but he has come with a request that please take the holy name, please take and chant the holy name. So it's our great fortune that we can, if we take it up and we follow in the footsteps, then the doors back to Godhead are widely open. So the chance is right in our hands. Like we were not born at the time like of Lakshmanji. We must have been in some forms that we are rolling and coming over here, I guess. But if we did not take it seriously at that time, now we have the most merciful incarnation who is ready to forgive all our offenses, all our offenses. And he does not even look at those. He, even if the offenses are there, he's ready to forgive us for all that. And he says, please take up the holy name to chant. And he empowers us to chant too. And that's how we get Mahaprabhu's mercy, through Nityanand Prabhu. So praying to them on this special day. So there are many demons that Krishna killed, but when it came to these two special demons who came in Vrindavan, they were delivered by Balaramji. So maybe we could talk about those two for a few minutes, where it gives us great pleasure in taking shelter of how this demon was killed. There is a lesson that Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually speaks in connection with each of the demons and their significance in our lives, the Lord's killing. And first one, this Pralambasur demon, he represents lust, actually, the lusty desires. So it is said that, like when we hear of Krishna's Raslila pastimes, in general, before coming to ISKCON, it only ignites lust in the hearts of those who hear about Raslila pastimes. But after coming into the proper sampradaya, and when we hear from our spiritual masters, we feel the love for the Lord awakens. How is this possible? What transformation did that happen? The story is the same, Raslila of Krishna. But what has that touched our heart, and what the transformation has happened from lust to love of Krishna? It is the Guru's message that has come to our heart through the Vani of Guru, who is able to explain this subject matter to us in the right consciousness. So, killing of Pralambasur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually explains that that is the lusty desires that Balaramji came to slay. And we take shelter of this pastime to say that please help us understand the scriptures in the right consciousness so we can progress in our bhakti. And this other demon, Dhenukasur, the donkey demon, it's the Krishna book actually narrates wonderfully these pastimes. I humbly urge that if you all could read Srila Prabhupada's words, the exact pastime, how it took and how it happened. He narrates very nicely how Balaramji first shakes the trees, the thala trees, and how all the fruits fall, and that's that sound. Actually, Dhenukasura is like, who has come entered to enjoy my fruits? Because he's like, those belong to me, and he represents ignorance, avidya. So who can take out avidya? That's none other than Guru, right? So whose Guru's form is none other than Balaramji. So he is the one who tackles with Dhenukasur and takes out that propensity to separately enjoy from Krishna. So this whole Talavan was protected by him just to keep those fruits, just to enjoy by himself and his clan. And nobody was able to enter that place at all. So he was all about I, me, myself. And it's also said that donkey consciousness is the ignorance of what? Of everything that's happening in and around me is because of me. Like even be the good or the bad or whatever we feel like I am entitled to it. It's because of my hard work it came. So that's when, if somebody is glorifying you for a service that was that a beautiful garland was made or nice bhoga was cooked, so or a nice class that we hear or nice kirtans, whatever it be, when any devotee or any person glorifies the service, immediate response of all of us is like, all glories to Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. What do we mean by saying that? Because we are trying to realize that this is not me who did it, it's they who empowered me to do it. So before the class, we recite these Mangalacharan prayers. The most important part is the speaker and the listener. We are taking shelter of our Guru Tattva. So they can empower us, one person to speak, the others to listen. Both way, each one is benefiting from this process. So it's their empowerment that whatever words come out and whatever understanding that happens in our heart. So similarly, Baldev clears all that ignorance and he holds that donkey by the hind legs. The hind legs are most powerful for a donkey, it's said. So he grabs that and twirls in such a way that they say that centrifugal force was so much that he left his life air escaped in that rotation itself, and when he was thrown off. And also when the donkey's example is given, it is said that the grass is everywhere, but this donkey doesn't have to work that hard to just eat some grass. It's just freely available. But he thinks if he pleases his master by carrying that load, then he gets that little bit of grass at the end of the day. Then he feels like that is what life is all about. Like sometimes we foam at the mouth of like the jobs that we do and the work that we think. So the faith that we put, I'm not trying to say that we should not be going to our work. So that's not the point. But if we put our faith in our bank balances, in our job as our shelter, where is our shelter? That's the right word. Yeah. So if our shelter is in these things, that says that we have not understood that Krishna, that Avashya Rakshibe Krishna. This is that Sharanagati lines. Those of us who go on the altar to dress the Lord, and when we recite these verses, that Avashya Rakshibe Krishna, that Krishna is my ultimate protector. And he's the giver and he's the protector. That Mahavishwas, each one of us should develop eventually. So this whole process of bhakti practice, everything is meant to develop our relationship with the Lord in completeness. Yeah. After hearing all these pastimes, so Parikshit Maharaj was saying that I am the most dhanya. Like dhanya means dhanyatama. That is the Sanskrit word he uses in the text. So he says dhanya means I'm the most fortunate. So we have to understand, like, how do we understand who is fortunate, who is more fortunate, who is most fortunate? So it is said that the one who gets, actually, like one who gets to hear Krishna Katha in the association, like first it says that one who gets the association of devotees is fortunate. So to be dhanya, that means to be fortunate is to have the sangha of devotees that we have. And the one who gets to hear Krishna Katha in the association of devotee is more fortunate. Truly, right? We relish more when we are in the association of devotees. And who is most fortunate? So the acharyas explain that one who gets to hear Krishna Katha repeatedly in the association of devotees is the most fortunate. So that's how Prabhupada made that verse nitya, like when we recite Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So that's the most important part of doing our services on a nityam, daily basis. Then we become the most fortunate recipients of this spiritual knowledge from our whole Guru Parampara coming from Balramji. Yeah, we can take shelter in that way. And this is a nice verse. Always like from my young, my mother from my house too, and after that, my spiritual master too, like whenever he would take to holy places, You would say that how we can fold our hands and say a prayer to the dham, to that particular situation. So here for Balram Jayanti, we could also recite a nice verse glorifying Baldev. Namastestu halagrama, namastestu mushalayudha, namaste revati kanta, namaste bhaktavatsala, namaste bhalim shreshta, namaste dharanidhara, pralambhare namastestu, trahimam Krishna purvaja. Obeisances unto you, O holder of the plough. Obeisances unto you, O wielder of the pestle. Obeisances unto you, O beloved husband of Revati. Obeisances unto you, O affectionate benefactor of your devotees. How wonderful, right? O affectionate benefactor of your devotees. We call Krishna also Bhaktavatsala, and here we say how Baldev is also Bhaktavatsala. Obeisances unto you, O upholder of the earth. Obeisances unto you, O best of the mighty. Obeisances unto you, O killer of the Pralambha demon. Please save me, O elder brother of Krishna. So Balram ji ki jai, Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, and Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please forgive me if I said or shared something that was not appropriate. And with these closing lines of Srila Prabhupada, I want to, if is there somebody who would like to read that two lines, if you're able to see on the screen?
Hare Krishna. Yes, ma'am.
You are instructed, you are guided, but you have to act. If you do not act, there will be no meaning. Srila Prabhupada told Vishnu Jan at his initiation ceremony in 1968. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. You are instructed, you are guided, but you have to act, right? If you don't act, there will be no meaning. So, all that we hear, we pray to Baldev to give us that strength. Balramji, please give us that spiritual strength so we can actually act. So, there is some meaning to what we hear, what we learn, what we read, and what we practice. Yes. So Srila Prabhupada is our savior Acharya. When we say founder Acharya, he has come to save. Like how would I know each one of you? Like I'm sitting in another corner of the world and you are on the other side and we are connected through Srila Prabhupada's mercy. So we are very, 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 very grateful to Srila Prabhupada to have connected each one of us on this platform of discussing Krishna Katha. Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Hemanga, Gopi, Devi.